Yo, what up, what up, what up, and welcome everybody. Welcome, man. Listen. So it's been a fucking day. I'll be honest with you. It's been a goddamn day, and I'll be real. I was wrong with one of my predictions. I didn't think they were gonna come down hard on, fucking the side of censorship, but let's be honest here. Like, yo, they are going seriously they're going into the fucking paint on this one. They ain't playing fucking games, right? Legit, they are digging a fucking deep hole on this one. So they decided to, they deplatformed 4chan. Parler got kicked off the Google Play Store and is kicked off the Apple Online Play Store. They banned Donald Trump off of Twitter and Facebook. They also banned Sidney Powell off of Twitter and Facebook. And on top of that, they banned Michael Flynn off of Twitter and Facebook. So, that's kind of where we are at the moment. Oh, and they shut down Donald Trump's YouTube channel as well. So,
they did shut that one down. I was wondering if they were going to touch that.
Yeah, they got everything. I heard Kiwi Farms also went down, but I don't know why the fuck they would take down Kiwi Farms. That seems fucking retarded, but I checked and it's still up. So, but yeah, I'm here with Aircraft Sparky and my boy Dip 1000X. You know what I'm saying? Fucking, and I figured, we're gonna have a conversation about free speech because I think it's, probably the First Amendment's probably the most important one we have as far as shit's really concerned. So, Aircraft Sparky, man, what up, man? Welcome back from your trip to DC. How the fuck you doing, Sparky?
Sorry about what's going on right now, but there ain't much I can do about it.
Word.
You there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I want to make sure I came through because
it lagged for a second, and it was like, oh,
hate it when that happens. Yeah. That's like one of the issues with StreamYard. Every now and then it kind of lags out.
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you, man. My OBS lags way fucking harder, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah, well, it's a RAM issue probably with the OBS.
Probably. I got fucking 16 gigs of RAM. I don't know why the fuck it doesn't run the way it's supposed to.
They did a if you're using Streamlabs OBS, they did an update about 3 months ago, and it like tripled the RAM need.
Now I'm using
regular OBS. It's fine.
Yeah. I've standard OBS. Like my bitch is like, I don't know, like my computer can't like fucking, like it always says encoder overloaded, even if I'm just like doing a recording and I have somebody like say in a Discord call and I'm like I got a website up or something like that.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you there, bro. Besides, maybe put the hamster down and get a better PC, but
man, listen, this is a decent fucking laptop, and I use a laptop because I'm usually got to be mobile all the fucking time.
Oh no, man, dude, I'm on a laptop.
These platforms are shit. They've been shitty for years. The updates don't fix anything. The patches don't fix anything. Seriously.
Yeah, I feel you. I can't, like, a lot of times I ignore updates on a lot of shit because, like, I know, like, I have a 4K video downloader, which lets me download shit off of YouTube. And if you take the update, all of a sudden you won't be able to fucking download anything anymore because they'll update all the copyright shit on it.
I only update when I absolutely have to with apps. And I mean absolutely, meaning that it doesn't really work anymore. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, shit, I guess it's time.
Yep. You know what I mean? But anyway, so Aircraft, you went over to the DC protest, man. I want to hear what the fuck happened.
Yeah, man. My man Frank called me up and said he was going, asked me if I was interested. And I said, well, of course I was thinking about going myself. And so we just kind of went and, split some cost and saved a little bit of money there and watched each other's back, man.
That's what you're supposed to do.
So
how'd it go?
Well, I mean, you know how it went. I mean, they talk about it on the news. Of course, they're not telling you the whole truth.
Of course not.
This was definitely a mostly peaceful protest.
As they all are.
No, they're not all mostly peaceful. When you got a city ablaze, that ain't mostly peaceful. That is straight up rioting.
Sparky, I continually say this. There's not been riots since the damn 90s. People don't know what fucking riots are. They really don't.
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. Like there was a lot of shit this summer that, looked a whole lot like fucking riots. You know what I mean? Like yo,
It
legit.
looked like, but
over $2 billion worth of damage says otherwise, man.
Yeah,
Look,
Minneapolis, for instance, like when they burned down the apartment complex and then they burned down the fucking Home Depot and then they burned down the motherfucking that other joint. I forget what the hell it was. Right. That was a riot, nigga. Like, they would break in windows and spray paint and shit and be fucking up. That was a riot, nigga. Like, that was not, you know what I'm saying?
People out of cars, beat them.
Yeah. Jose, I will motherfucking call you when I'm done with this, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got a couple of hours till then, though. All right, I'll give you a fucking shout. Doodoo fucking used to work with me and shit. But yeah, man, like, legit fucking yeah. So you went to DC. Like, how did it go for you in general?
Oh,
like,
man, for me it was fine. I don't get freaked out when things don't go exactly the way I think they're going to, and let's be 100% clear here. I didn't expect things to go down the way they went down. I expected the protesters to push up to the stairs.
Right.
I didn't expect them to go any further. But the Capitol Police kind of egged them on.
Of course they did.
And but even when they got into the building, all evidence shows that it was pretty much LARPing.
Well, let me put this way, right? I'll be real with you. First off, I think it's a complete overreaction what the government's saying right now, right?
Of course.
I mean, I think like it's a giant overreaction to all this bullshit. Like, people die sometime at protests, like that shit happens. A police officer and 4 people were killed, right? And the 4 people were killed by police officers. And I hear a lot of individuals saying, like, the police are being really nice to the protesters. I'm like, like if 3 niggas get shot, I do believe that's that puts that out of that realm. You know what I mean?
There was only one gunshot victim, and that was the Air Force vet, and she was murdered.
Oh, of course.
Of course, that police officer is currently on a paid leave of absence while they do the investigation. And if they return anything less than a murder charge,
they won't. They'll let them go, as they always do.
So if they come with anything less than a murder charge, I think being nice is not the option anymore. Because there's no reason why that woman should have been shot. She was unarmed. The dude wasn't even in danger. Just because he's bitch ass, he was a bitch ass dude. I mean, he chose the wrong profession. He deserves to go to federal pound me in the ass prison.
That sounds like many officers in the United States. Imagine that.
There's the other 3 deaths were actually all natural causes. One, a young man fell off a scaffolding when it plays stupid games, wins stupid prizes.
Yeah.
Another guy had a cardiac event while driving people from one location to another. Just happened to expire just outside of the Capitol grounds. And another one, I think, just had a cardiac event. And then, of course, you had the one police officer that was essentially murdered by someone hitting him with a fire extinguisher. And that's unexcusable as well.
He should protect himself better than that. You shouldn't die from getting hit upside the head by a fire extinguisher. I'm sorry. That is seriously, from a martial arts standpoint, you're sorry. Like,
I don't know. I really don't want to embarrass you right now, man.
Yeah, look, real shit. Like, I'm be honest with you, dude. Like, look, getting hit with something while you're in a crowd of individuals is not a difficult thing to do. You know what I mean? Like, that happens when you get surrounded. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? You're worried about niggas in front of you, you get hit from the back. Like, it just,
Bruce Lee died from a gunshot that was supposed to have been a blank. Man,
no, he did not. No, he didn't. Jason Lee died.
Oh, Jason Lee, yeah. look, man. Look, awareness and chaos. Like I said, I don't know your background. I don't want to embarrass you, but in that situation, I can understand getting clipped upside the head when you're trying to keep your head on a swivel, and want to understand the guy was by himself. So no, I ain't faulting the cop. I fault people that hit him.
Well, okay. You have to understand where I'm coming from
Brandon Lee.
before you
Brandon
bring.
Lee. I'm sorry, not Jason Lee. I think Jason Lee was a nigga who fucking played the fucking White Ranger on the Power Rangers.
Jason Lee was a dude from Mallrats.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Brandon Lee.
The reason I'm saying what I'm saying as one who's dealt with cops in protests and more is that they don't train. A lot of these cops are untrained when it comes to these matters of protection. That's what I mean. It's not just in the point of chaos, meaning they're not very aware of their surroundings.
Well,
I'm dead serious
they're
when I
not
say
trained
this.
enough.
Yes.
I was talking with a ranger friend of mine today, and he's actually a cleat instructor up in DC, and he was breaking down. He's like, man, he was explaining to me, I've had more riot training than most of these cops have had.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, these they're not trained enough, and that's a departmental issue.
Well, it's not so much a departmental issue as it is, like a quality of officer issue, right? Because
True.
they have a problem getting people just to become police officers as a whole, right?
So police, Capitol Police is some of the actual that's one of the hardest departments to get on. It is one of the most sought after because it is a cush job.
Well, yes and no. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, all right. So, they have a very hard time getting police officers, and the people who go in to be police tend not to be high IQ individuals.
Yeah. They're not the sharpest peanuts in the turd by any chance.
You know what I mean? But all right, look, I don't want to keep talking about the fucking police. I'll be real with you. This stream is about free speech. All right?
Yeah. So.
Right, so you went there, you know what I'm saying? Like, and fucking 4 people died. Well, 5 people died. I know there was 4 people shot.
Man, I know 1 person died of gunshot. I know 3 people died of natural causes. Another one died from a fire extinguisher upside the head. If 3 other people were shot, I haven't seen the reports. I wasn't getting reports of that when I was on the ground. That might have happened after I left the Capitol, because I left the Capitol right around 4:30 in the afternoon, because it was just getting stupid, and I knew that they were getting ready to bring in the reinforcements, and I wasn't about to roll them dice. So, yeah, I mean, because I was on Capitol grounds, I was not inside the building. But the retribution was going to be swift. And it turned out I was wrong on that. I figured it would be swift, it would be brutal, because that makes the most sense. But no, they just walked in and said, hey, man, we need you to leave. And they were like, all right. And so that's what they did.
Right.
A couple of cats that was just acting a fool got hemmed up right then and there. But the reason why they're going so hard after this is because a bunch of bitch-made politicians had pictures of them published as they were pissing themselves.
Of course.
So they feel some kind of way because now they're embarrassed on a worldly level, because the people who send sons and daughters off to battle got caught completely bitch-made. And dude, I'll tell you this, and I put out 21 clips. All these are unedited, from start to finish of these clips that I took. I had a GoPro with me, and man, I just couldn't keep it going steady. You couldn't live stream because there was so many people sucking up so much bandwidth. And then when things started really kicking off, they turned on the cell phone jammers in the area. So streaming wasn't an option. So I captured a lot of stuff on the GoPro, including the breach of the barriers over on the eastern side, over by the Supreme Court side, up to getting up to the stairs when they threw the first flashbang, stuff like that. And there's some pretty good footage, man. you can actually get a feel, because I was right there in the middle of the crowd. You can get a feel what was going on. It was not ultra violent. It was nothing. It was, dude, you got the boomers to rise up. But I mean, it's not like they brought the smoke.
What you expect? Come on, man. People do nothing but talk. Seriously.
Well, no, I mean, they're talking about how violent and how much insurrection this is and stuff. And I mean, watch my footage, man. Watch my footage, and it'll show you. These are just a bunch of, and there was a lot of vets. There was a lot of vets there, man.
Right.
They were just calling to be heard. That's really what they were about. And cops made some bad decisions. When they flashbanged the first time.
Well, I saw them tear gas out and smoke out the rest of the protesters who wouldn't leave the fucking steps and shit in the end.
That's what they do.
Like
but you know what? No, they were pepper spraying. They were pepper spraying us, and we just pulled out some water, cleared our eyes out, and said, "Is that all you got?" I mean, it was serious, man. It wasn't. The news is hyping this up as if it was something horrible, but then you look back to June of 2020, and they're talking about mostly peaceful protests while shit's burning in the background.
It depends on which outlet you were talking about, because they were demonizing the hell out of us. A lot of news outlets were. So,
dude, Fox News said that everyone there were terrorists.
Yeah, they kind of said the same shit about Seattle. So,
and I'll tell you this. Look, man, that was the only more milquetoast riot or protest that I have been to was in Oklahoma, where everything is mediocre. These cats went hard as Jello. Exactly. And our politicians are sitting there trying to act like it's the end of the fucking world. I mean, they forget the fact that BLM and them fucks busted into the Senate during the Kavanaugh hearings, raised all kinds of hell. They claim this hasn't happened since 1814. But what about in 1964 when the Black Panther Party showed up armed in the Congress, threatening motherfuckers? What about 1954 when 4 Puerto Rican nationalists busted up into the Capitol shooting? Man, these people don't understand. You can Google this shit.
Of course.
The media is lying to you.
Yo, Keenan, seriously, Q is bullshit. All right. Like, yo, Q is a bunch of retarded boomers. Like, and it's a giant fucking meme that they don't understand and they're taking fucking seriously.
One of the leaders, one of the big people in the Q movement happens to be the Q shaman. We're talking about the Buffalo Viking dude. Come on, man. Look, we all know that's Beard Barion's bastard son, but that don't make him smart. All right, look, this
and I put Aircraft's channel in the motherfucking channel. And by the way, congratulations hitting 3,000 fucking subs, getting it fucking done, nigga. Jesus Christ, man, you bypassed me and shit, motherfucker.
Aircraft, let's be honest, and I know Tom knows where exactly I'm about to go with this. If there was some real shit that popped off in DC, you're talking about where the Pentagon's located, close by, you have the FBI, you have a number of military factions and bases, right? If they really were about shit, you know, the military would have came, FBI, ATF, everybody would have came hard, and shit would have been locked down very, very rapidly. You got Secret Service there. This wasn't real shit. Americans are so civilized, docile, pacified, and pussified that they don't even realize what real shit is. Stuff that goes on across the world is way worse than this shit.
The deal
way
is
worse.
The fact that there are so many people that didn't come.
Of course not.
That
they knew what it was.
Well, these guys didn't. A lot of people didn't show up, and so all they're doing is feeding. They're just eating the bullshit being spoon fed to them by the media, Notice the media isn't really putting out any videos on it.
Of course not.
They're not showing any video of it. All they do is show you still pictures. They're not showing video for a reason. That is why I uploaded raw video. That is why I threw no commentary on there. All I did was put the shit out. It's on a playlist called Raw Footage. 21 videos, and man, some of it is just, dude, like I got one video where I just like, hey, look at this mural. I just showed a mural. I showed another one that's some dude LARPing around walking as Super Trump. You know, when things popped off, I mean, I immediately hit play, hit a record, you know, because I mean that was more important. But I did a couple of things here and there just to show the mood. And I'm going to tell you, it was a weird mood because I go to a lot of conservative rallies and stuff, and, you know, open carry and all events and all this other stuff. And traditionally, conservatives are kind of jovial, laughing, just having a good time. And it was a little bit more serious. And the way I knew that is there was a man that was arrested trying to enter the Washington Monument right around 7:15, 7:20 in the morning. And the Park Services Police, because there's like 12 different departments in DC. Okay, you got your Secret Service, your ATF, you got Park Services, you got Capitol Police, you got Metro PD, you got all these different organizations that are all police. So Park Services goes and hems this cat up, and immediately any one of the patriots, I guess we'll call them, who was around, who noticed what was going on, immediately swarmed to that area, got those cops cornered in the Washington Monument, and held them hostage until backup showed up. And then they backed off and let them carry the guy off. But they were stomping like the thin blue line flag and all the other stuff. And I'm just sitting there going, okay, so this animal's a little different today.
Well, yeah, it was like the whole, like, you gotta understand, man. Like, all right, so I come from a capital city, right? You know what I mean? And like, I understand how like all these different fucking police officers operate, right? You'll have state police and fucking city police and capitol police, and then you'll have fucking, like, you know what I mean, the ATF, you know what I mean, whatever, right? Yeah. You'll have all these different individuals working inside of, you know what I mean, the fucking inside of the city. And if you fuck up downtown around the Capitol, you'll end up having all of these individuals show up, you know, and they'll stand there and all like kind of like puff their chest out to each other. You know what I mean? Like if one, you know what I mean, like say if Harrisburg cops do something, then the Capitol Police will motherfucking come over and try to take over. And then the fucking, you know what I mean, like the FBI or some bullshit, or the state police will try to take over them. Like it's all fucking different. You know what I'm saying? Like it's fucking, yeah, the whole thing, it's a whole different animal, you know what I mean, when you're inside of like a capital area, because it's a different jurisdiction altogether, because Washington, D.C. itself, like, so it's not a state. It's actually like, it's legally, I think, a territory of the United States.
Territory, and it actually states in the Constitution that DC will remain a territory forever.
You sure it's actually a territory? Because a territory is usually it's a
federal
it's
territory.
A part of the nation.
Yeah,
I thought it was
a federal nation.
You sure it's not a municipality?
No. It's a fucking territory, and I'm gonna tell you why, right? Okay. The reason why is so that if you fly in or you go into DC, so Virginia, Maryland, or whoever it might be can't arrest you, right? And that's the big thing. It's kind of like having, like, the whole city itself is kind of like being on like the grounds of what the fuck's them things called, god damn it, I just had it, that those things where you fucking have like your embassy. It's like being in an embassy of your state. You know what I'm saying?
Diplomatic immunity
means the people who live in DC have voting rights, but DC itself has no voting representatives.
Correct.
They have they basically have representatives that are there to say, "Oh, we think this," but they can't actually place a vote. And that's
as far as I know, like there's the 50 states and then DC, as
There's
well as like
also
Puerto Rico and
representatives
other.
for Puerto Rico and Guam as
Yeah,
well.
Guam, America, Samoa, and all those.
Yeah, they all have representatives in the Congress and the Senate, but they can't vote.
Yeah, they're non-voting reps, and that's the way it will stay unless they have to do a constitutional amendment. Now, Puerto Rico doesn't need a constitutional amendment; just needs congressional approval.
Okay.
Because it specifically states in the Constitution that the District of Columbia shall remain a district. So you cannot make it a state without amending the Constitution. So this is something a lot of people's like, oh, they're going to make DC a state. No, they're not.
No, they're not.
You've got to have 2/3 of Congress and the Senate to ratify that, or have 36 states in a state congregation of a constitutional convention. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So currently there's 29 states that are signed up for the Constitutional Convention.
Yeah. But anyway, right? And Puerto Rico keeps voting to not be a fucking state.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that's because they don't want the tax responsibility, and in order for them to become a state, they also have to zero their debts before they can become a state.
And there's no way they're fucking doing that.
They want to play in the middle ground. They want all the rights, but in protections, but they don't want to actually take the responsibilities. They know exactly what they're doing.
And so yeah, I put out that raw video, and I made sure not to make any commentary on it because that's how YouTube would be able to get me. If I put commentary over the top of it and I was like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah, that's what they would use immediately to kick me off. But showing raw footage in no way violates terms of services or anything like that. All that does is just show video. Hey,
as long as no copyrighted material, they don't have any legs.
Well, and there is some copyrighted material, but all you do is you share monetization with it, or you demonetize it. Doesn't matter.
Right. Or they'll just be like, you just can't monetize it. That's all they care about.
Anyway, I want to say what up to everybody in the motherfucking chat. Mean Psycho Ryan himself came through. What up, my nigga? Victor Rand, my boy Fishmel's out of here. Fucking Johnny Boy, Massage Genie, Keenan Hayward. What up, man? Fucking welcome, my brother. Welcome. You know what I'm saying? Nice to see everybody the fuck out here. Michael Hatfield, man, it's nice to see you out here, my brother. You know the deal. And I'm looking to hear Master Minos. Nice to see you out here, my brother. Kadia, how the hell you doing? My boy Jose, Nacho Damas, and motherfucking Enclave Harden. Man, welcome everybody. Welcome. It's nice to see everybody out in this bitch. So anyway, right. Puerto Ricans are Democrats. Get nothing misunderstood about that. They're socialist. Most of Puerto Rico as an island is a goddamn giant city. All right. The vast majority of their population is a fucking city. And that's something that a lot of people don't know. You know what I mean? Yo, fucking ballistics here. I mean, it's 6 a.m., nigga. It's motherfucking midnight here. Like,
that's a little bit east of Britain.
Yeah, man, fucking 6 a.m. and shit. I think that's like fucking London
Germany?
time. And look, I live on America time, all right? You know what I'm saying? Because this is America, all right? And I don't really know nothing about the rest of y'all's bullshit time. I ain't doing math to figure out what time
London
it is.
The prime meridian. You're 5 hours behind if you're EST. I just have dealings across the world, so I know the time zones.
Yeah, I'm world traveler. I get what you're saying there, DIP. But look, if it's not America stand, I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. You know, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, everybody who's not in America is not a person. That's where I get to. You know what I mean? It's always been my mental, right? So anyway, right? So, yo, what do y'all think about them banning? They banned Trump off of Facebook and Twitter, and on top of that, they got Michael Flynn and that motherfucking broad who had like all them lawsuits against like for the fucking voting shit.
Sidney Powell.
Yeah, Sidney
Powell. Yeah. What do y'all think about that?
This has been the plan for 8 years. They've been slowly censoring, and people don't give a fuck. As long as it suits people's preference, ban them. Absolutely. people don't understand is once you erode at freedom, and I know both of y'all are about this. Once you erode at any form of freedom, it's the same thing with injustice. Once you allow it, it's a poison, it's a cancer, and it will erode and corrode. And it will eventually, people are like, oh, the gun isn't pointing my way, so I'm good. They don't understand it. You cannot do this shit. You allow this shit, this is what happens. A sitting president, people don't understand the precedent of that. A sitting fucking president. Do y'all understand what that means? Anybody can get that work now.
Yeah. You know, I mean,
modern day McCarthyism.
Exactly.
I don't even. All right, so, man, listen, I really don't even think it's all of that. I think they're trying to shut down anybody who, you know, I mean, really, you know, I mean, doesn't want to stand here and, you know, I mean, be part of this globalist fucking agenda and shit. And here's
that's McCarthy and air bullshit.
But it's modern day McCarthyism. Look,
yes.
In the 50s, it was if you were any way, if they could even insinuate that you were any way connected to anything communist or socialist, you became blackballed, where you were depersoned. You weren't even allowed to work.
Yep.
That was what McCarthyism is. And guess what? This looks a whole lot like. They started with Alex Jones, my dude.
Yep.
And he's my spirit animal, for Christ's sakes. They depersoned this man because he said some outlandish stuff. And personally, I think he mostly did it for entertainment purposes. But he does believe some of the stuff, especially, you know, with the chemtrails. But I firmly believe that was a dry run to see what would people put up with. And guess what? They were fine with it. And now they went to the other extreme. And now they have banned, although maybe not the most popular president in the history of the United States, still holds the office of what most people would consider the leader of the free world. And they have now depersoned him from the internet, which happens to be the town square, the modern day town square. Basically, this is McCarthyism, and I'm not going to tell you, if you don't agree with me, you know, you should go for a long walk off a short cliff or anything stupid like that, but you damn sure is wrong. And that's my opinion.
Sparky, you're exactly right with the historical precedent. It goes beyond that, though, because if you look back, and anyone who studies history, this is why I brought up before the stream 1760s and 1770s with what King George III did, as well as you can look at what led to the French Revolution, what partially led to the Russian Revolution, as well as you look in the 20s. This is exactly mirrored and parallel to what led to the rise of the Nazi Party, what led to the rise of Mussolini's regime in Italia, what led to the rise of a lot of fascist regimes. This is exactly it. People allow for this bullshit to go, and then by the 30s, what do you see? Because people vote and allow for this shit to go in. And then what have they been saying for years? They keep trying to tell you, take away the guns. People don't understand that the reason there is a Second Amendment, the reason for this is because the founding fathers knew that once you disarm the people, that is the first step towards tyranny. Well, it's not whether people should or should not have firearms. That's a personal preference. The point is the ability to protect oneself and the ability to fight back with equal and adequate measures against a tyrannical regime. They knew exactly what this game was. But people don't play the Game of Thrones. They don't understand the historical precedents because they're uneducated, because they don't care, because, like I was saying, they only care about the immediacy. They only care about what affects their little circle and don't realize that that shit will always come back to you. When you allow any of this to go, it will always come back full circle. And by the time, it's too fucking late because you've demonized, you've ostracized, you've exiled, you've killed off, you've assassinated those who stood up. You talked about the Black Panthers before. See what the fuck happened to them. You talk about various groups throughout American history. See what the fuck happened to them. The labor strikes and more. People don't understand what this game really is. The
Yeah.
history of America is in bloodshed, violence, and destruction of property.
Well, that's the
Period.
history of the
Protest
world,
is
man.
common.
That's just how it goes. Period.
Yes.
And when you look at what's going on right now, and you parallel it with the Roman Empire, breads and circuses is what comes to mind.
Exactly.
The people have gotten so complacent, and as things got worse,
Huh.
they started prioritizing the breads and circuses to keep the masses quelled. Think about that woman in California who went viral talking about how her restaurant wasn't able to be
Yep.
opened, but the studio who was on location set up the exact same thing and could run at triple her capacity, and it was completely legal. You got to keep the breads and circuses going to keep the masses quelled.
Did you see the gentleman in Michigan as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so these, and this isn't a left or right thing. Look, the
Exactly.
GOP and the DNC are two sides of the same damn coin. They just, what flavor do you like? That's all it is. It's a Neapolitan coin. If you like chocolate, we got the DNC. If you like strawberry, you got the damn Republicans. If you like vanilla, motherfucker, we got a Libertarian Party. No one really likes vanilla.
Like yo, vanilla is garbage, and like yo, I'm not. Yo,
Pistachio, we got the Green Party for you.
Libertarian Party is not a real fucking party. It's not a
No.
real
Look, any party that would have people like Joe Exotic as one of their representatives and major candidates, that should tell you something.
Gary Johnson.
Look, any cat that comes on national TV high as a kite, wanting the highest job in the land and don't understand what's going on the world stage when foreign policies. Yeah, dude, that shows you exactly how serious the Libertarian Party even takes themselves. They're all a side of the same damn coin.
We need what I keep saying.
Well, like yo, they all serve the corporate master. Like that's really what it is.
Yeah.
Right. In the end of the fucking day, like they all serve the same corporations, and this is why. You know, I mean, like a lot of people, recently, and I've been trying to explain this to Frank, I mean, like he was, all gung ho before the election and shit. And I'm like, yo, you do understand that like both of these parties legitimately are just serving the corporations. And the vast majority of Americans really don't want any responsibility for their government. Like I've been I ended up having some medical issues. I got to take a lot of walks nowadays, right? And as I walk around, like it's like political signs. And one of the big political signs, I had this yesterday on my live stream, right? Where they say any responsible adult for the fucking presidency, right? But like that's a bullshit thing, because what they're really saying is I don't want to have to worry about my fucking government. Right? They don't want to have to be responsible for what their government does. And that's not freedom. Like freedom entails responsibility. Freedom entails that, you're going to have to deal with the problems of having too much liberty. You're going to have to deal with the problems of, having individuals around you who are going to fuck up and they're not going to do shit that you really want done. And, it's going to have to deal with, dealing with your government on a regular basis, fucking up and trying to overreach. But that's your responsibility as a citizen, is to take care of that, right? It doesn't matter who the fuck you elect. You still got to keep a fucking eye on them, and you have to watch every fucking vote.
Now, one thing that I saw in the chat, and thank you, Memes, for highlighting my name there so it'd catch my eye. If you could find it, Frank, Pinoid, sorry, Tom. He says, so what you're saying is that we should legalize dueling.
Why is it illegal?
Look, it's because
people just legalize. No. People need to understand what laws do. This whole illegal and legalized, stop that nonsense. Here's the reality. Laws in nature, by nature, are restrictive. If you look at the laws of nature and of mathematics, they themselves are restrictive. So when you enact something into law, I don't think people understand how reaching and universal it is. Antitrust laws, for example, I'm opposed to, because I understand what they entail. You're literally limiting people's freedom by laws. When you put up a stop sign or a stop or a light, right? Street light. That entails something. But people don't think like this. They're not taught to think like this. They're thinking, oh, laws give me freedom. No, motherfucker, laws take away your freedom. Or they restrict it.
Wait. We got to deal with Sick Man in the chat. And this is a really good comment because it's important, right, to have this conversation. Right. And this is literally what I was just talking about. Hey, you know what I'm saying? You know the deal. We love you right here. Right. But he says line jumping parallels here. Okay, the system good, folks running it not. We need some censorship. Many have crossed the line for self-want. Too many lines crossed. Maturity has eluded many. And like I feel where you are, we're on the internet, so I'm not gonna stand here and talk about your grammar or anything along these type lines because my fucking shit is fucked up all the time. And I even talk like I fucking type and I type like I talk.
Leave that up, please. Please leave that up because I'm still trying to read this. I'm trying to decrypt it.
Okay, so you got to separate it with the periods. At least he has periods. I don't even use periods. Mine's one big long run on sentence, right?
Tom, I can help you with that.
I'm terrible at grammar. Like I failed English every year since like 8th grade. All right, so line jumping parallels here. Okay, the system good, folks running it not. Right. All right. That's your
there.
Yeah, people are fucking horrible in general. Like the government is made up of the citizens and we're trash. Okay, so we need some censorship. Many have crossed the line for self-want. Too many lines crossed. Maturity has eluded many. All right.
Actually, the system itself is not good though. That's assuming the system's good.
No, the system's great, but like they've been trying to like fucking
exploit it.
Sidebar, yeah.
No, but the system is exploitation, and I can showcase what I mean both historically and currently. What's going on is the system at work. Nobody should be shocked.
Well,
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, nigga.
Yeah, man.
For example, Donald Trump. Okay, for those of you upset, all right, I'll give a recent example. For those of you upset at the fraud and corruption towards Donald Trump, that is the system at play, and it's been at play for decades. It's not a shocker. They've been doing this shit. Tammany Hall in 1890s. Look it up. They've been doing this shit.
Okay, see, I hear what you're saying, but see, here's the deal. That isn't the system. That is a system. Okay, and what Sick Man put up, dude, it was wordy. It was a little hard to just grab right away, but Tom P was on point. Hey, man, you gotta pay attention in periods. That's some deep shit, man. It really is. But see, here's the deal. We don't need censorship because who is the arbiter of truth? Who is the arbiter of morality and shit like that? That's where man, I can't.
Wasn't there a Supreme Court?
Okay, hang on. Here's how this works. Okay, so here's the deal. What you have is, and this is the problem with not having, free speech, right? And in particular with, the way free speech works on social media and in our current, system as a whole. Right. Hang on, man. I got to hand out some damn wrenches. These are new niggas out here, Scott and motherfucking Sick Man. And I'm welcome. Have a wrench. I make sure everybody has a wrench so they can say whatever they want in my chat because I do believe in free speech. So here's the deal. Here's how this is supposed to work. You're like the world as a whole, as far as ideas and as far as speech is concerned, they're supposed to be a playground of ideologies. And in that, I mean a 1980s schoolyard playground where the good ideas walk up and punch the bad ideas in the face. But the problem is when you kick people off of these fucking things for having bad ideas, instead of them having their minds change or having their ideas get the shit kicked out of them,
they dig in like a tick.
No, they end up all bunching together and then they spread their ideology to other people who have bad ideas. And then it ends up just, standing here like becoming one giant fucking piece of shit, fucking cesspool of bad ideas. And then you end up with QAnon and, the MAGA boomer movement, right? And this is what happened. Everybody got kicked off of these fucking social media platforms and ended up on Gab or 4chan or fucking Parlor or whatever it was. And they never got the chance to have a conversation with somebody like me who can kick them in the head with their ideology. Right. They never had a chance to go up against a guy like Styx. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, when what was his name? When Sargon and Richard Spencer went at it, right? And Styx was in there moderating, and Styx sat there and just whooped both of their asses with good thought patterns, right? And fucking Richard Spencer came off looking like, you know what I'm saying, a closeted homosexual who, you know what I mean, was seriously repressed. And fucking Sargon ended up standing here looking like a pedantic fucking retard. Both sides of that argument lost because that's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, the market of ideas, it's they don't want that because right now the leading thought the head thought leaders of a specific ideology has lost their goddamn mind. That they always talk about religion of science, and yeah. Completely disregard actual laws of science.
Right.
These cats, man, they're
let me put it like this, right? Because this is a better ideology to have, and because this is more important than standing here, you know, I mean, complaining about their argument. It's explaining their argument to them in a better way that makes sense with math and numbers and things, right?
Right.
So in the past, God, fucking 20 or 30 years, we've lost like fucking 15 or 16 million manufacturing jobs in this country, right? And we've replaced them with Uber drivers and Lyft drivers and individuals, you know what I mean, doing DoorDash and Amazon fucking workers in a warehouse.
In the service sector.
Yes, in the service sector. So we took good blue collar jobs and we destroyed them, right? Where, you know, guys had unions and benefits and pensions and the ability to, you know what I mean, survive long term. And they didn't have to really worry about who was going to feed their family. Right. And then on top of that, we took the money supply and we quadrupled it. And on top of that, now a house went from where it was basically you earned half in a year, you would earn half of what your house was worth back in the 1970s. Today, it's actually about 10 times that.
Right.
So when you have these type of disparities in the numbers,
so you're saying you earn 10 times half of what your house is worth, or your house?
No.
Your house is worth 10 times what you earn a year compared to like it was just, you know, I mean, you earned half of what your house was worth back in the day. Right.
You could afford a house.
Right. And this is important to have this conversation. So we understand why these people feel this way and why they're looking at this way. Right. And so we can come from an economic and a math perspective and we can sit here and go, yes, this is a problem and we need to talk about it. These individuals are disenfranchised and they're going to end up shouting out. And this is why, like, you know, I have such a hard time with a lot of people who decided to go to college and get these degrees in technical fields or get these degrees in, you know, I mean, economic fields or whatever the case might be. Right. Who go, oh, well, you know, I'm okay. And I go, but the rest of us aren't. Right. Because we come from places where, you know, manufacturing is how we've lived for the past, you know, 150 years. So what do we do now? Right. And when you start that, and when you start the conversation from there, there's no hostility. There's no bullshit. And I literally just punched everybody in the face in that argument. That's how this is supposed to work. You don't throw them off and then let them go. You know what? The Jews are all out here, you know what I mean, stealing all our money, and the bankers and the media elites are pedophiles who are raping children. You know what I mean? Like, yo, this is how you win these arguments. Yeah. Right. And you show them like, hey, look, you know what I mean? Like, this is not the Jews' fault. It's not. All right. Legit. It's not, you know what I mean? Whatever. It's an irresponsible government that decided that instead of standing here and taking the loss when it needed to take it and, you know, I mean, figuring out what it needed to do long term, we decided that, you know, I mean, put through growth like Enron was a better ideology than that. And banking on the future, being more educated, you know what I mean, was the ideology they wanted to have, and you were gonna be fucked.
Hey Tom,
What up, man?
Where you been, dude? Because I miss this Tom P.
This is where I always am. I'm right here.
No. See, you know, I love like the Church of the bitch made MGTOW or whatever. I love that LARP. It's kind of fun. But see, when you get deep like this, man, this is what made me initially subscribe to your channel. You got that humor, and I appreciate that. But when you start getting the deep stuff, that's what I really like.
Yo, this is what I do all day, every day. Have you not been watching my channel for the past year? Like, this is all I've been doing.
Bro, I haven't had a chance to watch YouTube. I've been the reason why I've jumped up so much in subs. Man, the amount of content I've been putting out, plus all the work I've been putting in my 9 to 5, you know, my day job, man. I've been burning the candle at both ends.
Like, yo, I'm at the level where niggas is calling me unreasonably intelligent. Like that, these are the words used to describe me at this point, right? Because all that funny shit stopped a while back.
Yeah,
right. You know, it stopped a long time ago, and it's been nothing but this serious shit recently. That's all it's been.
Yeah, like I used to love the LARP with the bitch made MGTOW, is what I like to call it. But because yeah, dude, that was like some hardcore red meat for the MGTOW world. But no,
well, I recently punched them in the face because I explained that, like, fucking, you know what I mean, it's not females' rights that's causing low birth rates, it's urbanization.
Right.
Well, you know, you're not wrong there. And also what's causing low birth rates is porn.
Well, no, it's urbanization, right? Like the most urbanized countries on the planet are the ones with the lowest birth rate. For instance, South Korea just announced their numbers are at 0.73, believe it or not.
Yeah, they're pretty rough. But no, the reason why I say that is because now in the world of the smartphone, right. And I'm not saying you shouldn't watch porn, man. You do what you want, right? You're a grown ass individual. But in the world of a smartphone, we have the knowledge of the world at the palm of our hands, and yet usually most people just have their cock in it because all they're doing is watching porn, and it's kind of disgusting. You know, a lot of people like to pick on the Proud Boys because they make that whole vow not to milk themselves, and no, it's actually kind of a good thing because it's forcing men to get off their dead ass and take a little of that rejection that they're so fucking scared of and go out and get laid. Because there's no way.
That doesn't mean that the women necessarily want to have kids, though, which is a whole different conversation.
Yeah, but you know what? There's a lot of women who may say they want kids, but the moment you knock that bitch up, she's gonna have it.
I know but you're getting into raising kids, which is a whole different issue.
That's just the way of the world,
right?
What I'm saying is, Tom's talking about how the world has gone soft. Yeah,
it is.
When it comes to the point to where a person is refusing to talk to other people due to fear of rejection, you're too soft. And with the breads and circuses that we keep throwing at the people, we make it where they don't want to.
Well, you also have a lot of entitlement and other things, but there are 2 points that Pinoid and you brought up that I wanted to address. One of them is free speech, and the other one is economic. Free speech, correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen. Y'all might know the direct year, but I believe it was in the 50s. I think it was around 53, where the Supreme Court had the case about censorship, actually. And this was highly debated because remember, this is the same era where they want to censor comics and everything else, right? And the Supreme Court came back with a judicious decision to no, within reason, you cannot censor. Then there was the same case with rap, hip hop, with Uncle Luke and such, Luke Campbell back in the 90s, and then certain grunge groups and whatever. The same thing was brought up again, where they were like, you can't constitutionally censor art. And people are like, oh, it's just art. Da, da, da. No, it was a matter of free speech. Yes, people disagreed with it. I'm not saying this is for children to consume, but for adults, you need these matters. And we need to discuss where the line is. If you censor things improperly, well, then that leads nothing to tyranny. And the second point about economics, I would bring up, and I often bring up, that Pino had talked about manufacturing. It goes beyond that. Manual labor jobs were the majority of jobs that men did, right? And people talk about, oh, men are the breadwinners. Well, who does the majority of work? Men. Well, what happens when and it's not just manufacturing, it's in forms of construction, lumber, agriculture, et cetera, et cetera. When you strip manual labor jobs, what are men supposed to do?
Well,
And then the jobs in the service sector, well, we can just kill two birds with one stone by having women. We know that women, this isn't a shot, these are just facts. Look them up. Women will work part-time more than men. Women will take off more than men. Yes, there are some women who don't, but the majority do. And so you have the involuntary homeless rate being majority men, unemployment rate, majority men. Also, you can go into divorce households, which means there are more workers in the workforce. You can talk about inflation. All of these factors are aligned. It's beyond just manufacturing. It's its entire economic stratus, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's
Psycho's out here stepping up his troll level right now. He got like 3 niggas in the motherfucking chat mad at him at the moment.
Ooh.
Good job, buddy.
We got
Good
war
job,
going.
buddy.
Nice.
Get it done,
like
get it done, my brother. Get it done. I love a good troll. I love a good troll.
I saw one dude talking about and what about child support? What about child support, man?
Child support wouldn't be an issue if people were getting paid, bro.
No. Child support is the worst thing that's ever happened to this country.
Exactly.
It is. Exactly. The reason why child support is so oppressive these days is because people won't take responsibility for the goddamn actions.
Ding. Exactly. Personal accountability, personal responsibility.
It's not just that. It's not just that. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, I mean, the child support to jail pipeline is the fucking problem, right?
No. I'm tracking that, man. I've heard all your arguments about that, and I agree with them. But the problem that I truly see is, and this is on both sides, we have lost the culture of accountability.
Facts.
That is why socialism is on the rise in America. It's not because people want more free stuff. They want less responsibility. They want less accountability.
Sparky, where I'll disagree, because I constantly hear this socialism, communism, etc. All right, gentlemen, capitalism, socialism, and communism are all economic philosophies. People use these terms, these McCarthyism era bullshit terms, and don't even understand what they mean. They're just all economics. And each of them, people go, oh, they can't work. No, none of them. We have none of them. We don't have capitalism. We don't have socialism or communism.
We don't have bartering economy. We don't
have a mixed economy.
Yes,
we have neo-feudalism. We are in giant plantations, bro. You talk about the corporate. We are in giant fucking plantations, bro.
We are all right. This is not a giant plantation. All right, it's not.
That's Q level shit you throw it out there, man.
No, it's not. This is Seattle. All right, this is what he's talking Seattle talk right now. This is not a giant plantation. All right, it is not. No, absolutely. All right. No, you are you are a free man and get the motherfucking stand here and ply your services between different individuals as you see fit and trade your labor for whatever price you see is proper. Right. The only question is whether or not you're able to support yourself in doing so. The only real problem that we have is the fact that the currency continues to be devalued. And by the way, my friends, if y'all niggas ain't buying crypto right now, there's something the fuck wrong with you. I'll be real.
I'll tell you this, Tom. Don't fall for the Bitcoin LARP. Go with Ethereum.
I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm legit. Bitcoin's rising faster than Ethereum is.
Bitcoin is rising faster than Ethereum, and the reason why I'm saying Ethereum is because what we're seeing going on right now with the internet, what is actually happening today.
Oh. You know I'm a yield guy, right? You know I'm not buying it because I like Bitcoin.
Yeah. I know what you're saying, but this is the reason why I'm saying Ethereum. Okay, a lot of the alternative platforms are going over to blockchain technology. Ethereum runs blockchain.
Well, so does Bitcoin.
Bitcoin has investments in blockchain.
No, Bitcoin basically is the original who came out on the blockchain. It's based on the blockchain.
It is.
That's what it's a blockchain itself. That's what actually makes Bitcoin work.
You get more for your money with Ethereum. Ethereum is the number 2 crypto. And of course, invest in all. Look, diversify your bonds. I think Dave Chappelle said with the Wu-Tang Clan. I ain't gonna finish the phrase, but you diversify your bonds. Yeah,
diversify your bonds, nigga.
Yeah,
gotta get it done. Right. I feel where you are. Right, and that's like here's where I am. So with Bitcoin on the rise, like I jumped in at 20. I should have jumped in at 12. I didn't think about it. Right. But I jumped in at 20 and it's at 40 right now. Right.
Oh, I know. I was looking at that tonight, dude.
Yeah, it hit 46 or something today. Right. So, or like last night. So, and then over the week, here's the deal. So here's how this works. Anybody who wants to, hop on this motherfucking bandwagon. What you do is you buy after hours. Right. When you buy it like when the market's closed and you sell it when the market's open. Right. Yeah. Because the market crushes Bitcoin. Right. Mm-hmm. All the regular investors are fucking retarded. It's like gold. Right. Like gold and silver will go up over the weekend. Right. So you're going to want to own them over the weekend. It's kind of the deal. Right. Because like when they're allowed to be naturally traded and the markets aren't open, they go up much more than they do. You know what I mean? As far as as far as like when the fucking shit's open. So, you buy Bitcoin when the day's over with and then fucking hold it overnight and then sell it in the morning. Right. And then pick it up again at night. Right. And you just keep doing that in motherfucking cycles and shit. And like, you're just going to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And that's just how this operates. You know what I mean?
Now, I'll tell you one thing that is better than crypto right now. But the problem with it is you got to have a big chunk of money. But if you have the money, if you can cash out your retirement fund, because your retirement fund is going to be worth dick over the next 4 years, it's going to be devalued that much because they're going to print that much money. You go buy some land.
If you can afford to buy some
land. That's what I'm saying. If you have that money available, if you have the ability to acquire that money with a quickness, you do that and you buy land. And
what about the property
tax? Let him finish, nigga. Sorry. Shut up. I was going to get into that next. Like, yo, Sparky, finish up, buddy.
The reason why I say that is because the Lord is not making any more of it. It is a finite resource, and everywhere you look, people need to live on it. So if you have the ability to buy it, you should. Look, that's what the rich people are doing right now. They are dropping all their investments and other things, and they are buying land.
You're not wrong.
Rich right now, rich.
Okay, so here's the deal. So going into the coronavirus, right? The average new home price was $396,000, right? And after coronavirus, since this year kind of it kept the housing market stable. Like the prices are still super high and it's growing a little bit. But after the coronavirus is over and once everything's calmed down and all this inflation catches up with us with this fucking money printing, houses are going to go to the fucking moon. Real estate is the best investment ever. Now, if you want to buy a derivative of the housing market, buy banks, right? Invest in bank stocks because they're going to make a fucking fortune.
Yeah. I got my tax assessor statement for the year. My home has valued 15% over the past year.
Interesting.
Has gained value.
How did it go up? How did it go up?
Scarcity.
I see.
So the way your taxes are assessed is by the value of your property compared to the value of surrounding properties in your area. So the value of my property has increased 15%. Now, part of that is inflation, legit. But another part of that is scarcity of land because people are buying up all the lands, driving up the median cost of properties.
Okay, so here's the problem, right? Where you need to buy land at is buy land in a place that doesn't have property taxes, like Delaware, Florida, Texas,
I don't pay.
um,
I don't pay property taxes.
Oklahoma,
Oh
apparently,
no,
right?
Oklahoma has property tax. The reason why I don't is because disabled vet.
Okay, all right, yeah, I'm saying. Right. Like, okay, like if you can, like, you have to find a place where you can buy land, but you don't have to pay property tax on it because
Yeah.
eventually that will bankrupt you. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Because
that,
and that's the real deal. Because if you pay property taxes, you are not actually buying land; you are leasing it with a mortgage. If you have to pay property taxes, if you don't pay your property taxes, you are authorizing the state to take away your land if you fail to pay it.
yeah.
As one from Florida, because people talk about the lack of state, the income tax and the property tax. It really depends on where you live too, because like I love my home state, but there's a lot of shady dealings that are done on the low. So you got to be very, very careful about where you pick and choose. Don't just think,
Oh,
oh, I'm just going to live here. No,
don't buy in Dade
No.
County. You know what I
No,
mean?
don't
Like,
buy in Dade County. Don't buy in Tampa. Don't buy in Orlando. Don't buy
oh,
in
I mean throughout the state. It's
Jacksonville.
not just.
I
It's
mean,
not. It's not just.
No.
Tallahassee might not be a bad investment. I'll
No,
be honest with you.
Tallahassee actually isn't all that bad for it to be the capital of that state. They are actually quite reasonable on everything except for their local sales tax, which I think is up to a 9.25%. But if I was to move to Florida tomorrow, and I really want to, I do want to live in Florida mainly because Florida man is my shtick, and I want to be.
Can you deal with the heat, humidity, and the rain?
Man, I grew up on the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Oh, you good then? You good?
Yeah. So yeah, I can handle all that, but you can't live in anywhere near any of the population centers of that state because the sales tax there is how they make up. It's how they make up
Oh
the lack
yeah.
of the state tax. And so I think in Tampa it's almost 11%.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
I don't know. I don't what your anybody know what the Tri-County area is? Anybody have any idea? Because I'm not sure.
Tri-County, that's
I
not
know
is that New York them?
that's New
Where?
York. That's
No,
That's
no,
New
no,
York,
no.
right?
The tri-state is like New York. I want to say like it's like New York, Jersey, and Connecticut. I think something like that's a tri-state
Well,
area.
okay, you're probably talking about Miami-Dade and what there's 3 counties down on the tip. There's
You-
Miami County, Dade County, and
Dade, Broward, and Palm.
No, it's
Nigga, yo,
Miami-Dade.
you
Okay,
live in
South
fucking
Florida.
paradise. Like,
South Florida is my shit. All right, it's Monroe County, Miami-Dade County, Broward County, and some can consider West Palm Beach County. But let me tell you, it's more than just counties. It's your neighborhood.
yeah.
You literally transition from one neighborhood to the next one. Your shit different. It's
Well, I mean,
it's
look,
crazy down there.
Homestead, Homestead, just outside of Miami.
Yes, sir.
There's
Yes, sir.
there's some great communities in Homestead and literally across the street, hood, and not like and not like redneck hood, little
No,
nah, man,
the hood, bro.
South Central, y'all. Just
That and it's not even just that. It's literally street by street in some cases. Let me tell you.
yo,
Like,
man, look, I love how Southerners like think of the hood. Like, I know Aircraft Sparky no different because he's been up to the East Coast. Like, it's a whole different animal up here. Like, yo,
and look, it's like South Philly. Yeah, it gets like South Philly.
the South,
yeah,
bro. We don't give a fuck, bro. In the middle of an affluent neighborhood, people can be hood as fuck. They don't care, bro.
No. And see now, Dip, bro, you got to go to South Philly to understand South Philly. But I'm telling you, there are places. There are like, dude, real talk. Down there in Homestead, Florida.
Yep.
Right across the street, you'll have South Philly and East Philly across from each other. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, let me put this way.
I'm from the Keys,
right?
so I know exactly
All
what you're
right,
talking about.
Let me say it like this. All right, like because I know South Philly. Like I know South Philly entirely more than I want to know South Philly. Like there's places in South Philly legitimately that look like fucking Cuba.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're trying to
Except
tell
in
you, Tom.
except in
That's how this shit
Homestead,
is.
except in Homestead, it is Cuba.
Oh, it's become no, Sparky. Let me correct that. As one from the Keys, it's been made that way.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that when I was growing up as a kid. Shit's changed.
Dude, like especially after that one hurricane that shut down Homestead Air Force Base.
You talking about her, Andrew?
Yeah, Andrew. Andrew decimated that area.
Oh yeah.
And Homestead just went to complete
Andrew and then Wilma. Wilma's what really extra fucked it up because things were rebuilt after Andrew. And then Wilma came in 05. Like Katrina got fucked over the Gulf Coast and Ivan and Charlie and all that.
Yeah.
And then Wilma just decimated shit badly. And so a lot haven't recovered after that, honestly. And then there was another couple ones.
But I use South Philly because I know Tom P. I know you know South Philly. That's why I said it, because look, when I think of hood, I think of South Philly. I think of South Central LA. I think about Oakland. I think about real hood. I don't think about Midwest hood.
Like let me put it like this, because like I've been to Memphis, I've been to goddamn fucking Nashville, I've been to Knoxville, I've been to Richmond, I've been to Atlanta, I've been to, I'm trying to think here, Charleston and shit, right? And I've seen some areas that look shitty, right? But I've never seen a place that looks like fucking Camden.
Yeah.
In the South.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Like
the only places that look like Camden are Philly and Harrisburg, right?
Dude, in Harrisburg is like the trailer park.
No. Come into the city, like the city of Harrisburg, legit, the buildings are falling into each other.
No. What I'm saying is, like, when it comes to like the attitude, it's like the trailer park of the hood.
Yeah.
It's like rednecks in the city and shit.
No, but the thing is like in Philly, in Philly they got like, the fucking kids riding around on dirt bikes and four wheelers and shit with the shotguns on their back, right? You know what I'm saying? And then it's the same thing here, right? It's all black. Like the city of Harrisburg is like 97% fucking black. There's no white people in the fucking city.
Yeah,
like the rest is just Puerto Ricans.
Well, okay, like I live in OKC, which they call it a city. Nah, man, it's a town.
Mm-hmm.
It's a town with a downtown area. But like
Gary's shitty.
I live in probably one of the whitest metropolises in America, and it's still mostly black. Because most white folk would rather live out in the burbs. I live in a decent area, OKC. It's not like the greatest.
Yeah, but like I'm gonna tell you what. A place that looks like fucking the East Coast, Chicago.
Oh, dude.
I was wondering if y'all gonna bring those Chi-Town.
I flew through O'Hare yesterday.
Right.
And I mean, just coming in on approach and everything, man, the city has really gone down. It's been like 6 years since I've been to Chi-Town, and it's really dropped in that 6 years. And I didn't go into the city. Just flying over it, I could see it, and that's bad.
Like, you ever have a chance, drive up through the Skyway up fucking 94 and shit.
Yeah.
Like legit, and just watch the city go by you. Like, it's so fucking dilapidated and fucked up. Like it legit, you'll think you're in Jersey.
It's starting to look like, but it's starting to remind me of what Detroit looked like.
Where'd you did you fly into BWI?
No, I flew into Dulles.
Oh, see,
dude,
you got to go into BWI, nigga.
Man, I hate Baltimore, dude. Real talk. Next time, I'm flying into Reagan.
Yo, BWI, like legit BWI. You go into BWI and you go down around a 695 corridor, nigga. Like, yo, you are trying to go as fast as possible to get the fuck out of
here. Good place in Baltimore is the harbor, is the inner harbor, and even that's sketch as fuck.
Oh yeah. Like, I used to go down to Baltimore, into like Baltimore,
yeah.
Down into like fucking Holabird Avenue over off 95 by the tunnel and shit.
Yeah.
Yo, like, man, listen, you want to talk about some places that'll sketch you the fuck out. Like, Like it legit. It
Dude,
looks
the
like
district
really
that
like.
has all the titty bars in it, dude. That place was sus.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you like this. There's places where like legit, if somebody shot you, like you would fall down and the grass is so high they wouldn't find you. You know what I'm
There are some neighborhoods and cities. People like when I hear shit pops off, right? I'll be like,
Mhm.
I'm like, as especially speaking as a black man, I'm like, why the fuck were you there? They're like, oh, I don't understand. I got no. There are some places I don't go, and it's not because I'm scared.
Everett,
It's because I'm
Washington.
smart. It's because
Yo,
I'm fucking smart, man.
Yo, look, man, I've been to like a lot of hoods: Camden, Secaucus, Jersey City, New York, Brooklyn, Harlem, motherfucking go into goddamn Connecticut sometime up in them fucking cities up there, Boston, goddamn. Yo, you have no idea how fucking shitty life really gets until you get into the East Coast fucking hoods. It's a
Yep.
whole different animal altogether.
Yep.
Like I
That's why I
know
don't
when I'm
live
in a
there,
bad
bro.
area. Right. I know when I'm in a bad area. You know what I'm saying? When you see liquor store, gun store, you're like, fuck, nigga, where the hell am I going? You know what I'm saying? Because you know you're going into a bad fucking place. But yeah, that's
The
how the
streets
East Coast is.
and Tom, tell me if I'm wrong.
Mhm.
And tell me if this is not universal. The streets, you could tell by just looking at the streets, the stoplights, the shit just start looking like, am I in a movie? Like, the fuck is going on here?
Like when you start seeing those black shrouds around the goddamn fucking lights and shit, and the gunfire cameras on the fucking telephone poles.
Oh,
Is the shit working? The streets are ripped up. It's like, have these
Yo,
been paved in the last 10 years?
you want to hear how?
West Baltimore, where they filmed The Wire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Bro, what's funny, I've been to places in Somalia that was better upkept.
Yes.
Like I'll be real with you. Like, yo, my city was so broke they installed those gunshot cameras and then they didn't have money for new batteries.
Hey. Did your shit have you ever been to a spot that just has the blinking yellow light? You know, the stoplight? They don't even actually have red and green. So people just figure out when to go. You know what I'm talking about?
That's out in the sticks. Like that's what they do out in the
Nah,
like,
bro. Nah,
that's
there's
what
a
they
lot
do
of
here.
places like that.
Like, yo, in the hood, like you'll have stoplights, but like they'll be like barely hanging on for dear life and shit.
Yes.
Like, yo, yeah. There's always a bodega on the fucking corner and shit. Yeah. I got you. You know what I mean? But like, I feel like this stream like did not cover the free speech issue in any way.
We went down a rabbit hole. We went down a rabbit hole real quick. And you know what? Hey, let's pull it back, man. Let's pull it back on subject, man. Because we had some good dialogue.
People were talking about censorship. The brother brought up about censorship. People need to understand what words mean. You know, when I think of censorship, now the only people who should be censored, children. Parents need to watch what children digest and ingest, right? But when it comes to adults, now I'm not saying come out here and saying some old crazy, stupid stuff. We need to check people. Definitely check people. But when I think of censorship, burning books, literally erasing things, pretty much you're covering up knowledge. You're covering up information. That's censorship. Censorship. Ray Bradbury in Fahrenheit 451 talked about it. Okay, that's censorship. And if you've never read that, definitely read that book. By the way.
Well, there's also the censorship of standing here telling individuals what they can and cannot say to each other. Correct. And banning individuals from being able to communicate at all.
Well, basically, it's moral fagging. That's really what it boils down to. You have some people that are clutching their pearls, and it used to be the conservatives back in the 90s.
Yes.
Look, I remember late 80s, early 90s, NWA came out, and that's why we had parental advisory stickers.
Yes.
From man, it was from the right,
straight out of Compton.
Freaking out over Straight Outta Compton. But today, it is the left clutching their pearls over you disrespected this transistor's pronouns.
Okay. Well, that's all right. Well, here's
tagging is what that is.
Well, here's the problem, right? So All right. The problem is, and I mean, I got to take it back to, I mean, like what I can prove, right? Because that's always been the most important thing on my channel is what I can prove. And like, so the reality is that our system requires infinite growth, right? And
Yeah,
in having that, you have to have an infinite growth of population. And with us becoming more urbanized, you're going to have two problems. One is when you put human beings too close to each other, you end up with more homosexuals and more,
true.
I mean, this transgender type of whatever nonsense, right? Because, I mean, like people are animals in the end of the day. You put too many people together, I mean, they end up, I mean, having that natural, fucking natural phenomenon where like they stop breeding on a certain level and they start, they stop worrying about breeding.
Population control.
It is right, but like it's a natural evolutionary thing. Like if you get too many of any animal in one area, you'll end up with weird distortions of how they end up reacting with their endocrine systems, right?
I can't remember what biological term. There's a specific term that you're talking about, Tom. I know what
It's
you're
like
talking about.
there's like pheromones that are released, right?
Yeah.
But so the mouse utopia experiment, I mean that type of deal. So
It's a
and
real
then on top of that, hang on, wait, and then on top of that, you have the problem of where they have to bring in immigrants for two reasons. All right. One is because they have to keep the labor rate down in order to keep the prices down, in order to beat inflation and keep the prices stable and not show that our currency is losing value from the day to day of individuals buying groceries. Right. And so anybody that has a conversation about immigrants or about immigration as a whole, right, is going to be censored by individuals who are running a system whose requirement on this paradigm is us to bring in immigrants to, do these type of labor jobs, right? And that's, I mean, like this is I'm gonna tell you I'm giving you the technical reasons of why they're doing what they're doing. So it's a better understanding of things rather than sitting here having a conversation about, oh, the moral fag and all this type of stuff. I want to get down to the technical reasons of why it's happening rather than, just bitching at their argument. Actually looking at their argument and going, all right, well, I understand why you're doing this, but you have to understand that this doesn't make sense in the way that I'm living at the moment. You know what I mean? And it's harming me as an employee, as a worker, as somebody who's trying to trade my labor for, compensation when you have, individuals out here willing to do it for much less because, they're accustomed to making $1 a day and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Tom, would you think that, and I've proposed this a number of times, that they intentionally, you're talking about bringing in immigrants and more, and outsourcing, people talk about outsourcing and manufacturing and such. Would you make the argument that they're intentionally having a permanent unemployment class, permanent involuntary homeless rate, that they're intentionally manufacturing this as well as inflation?
Well, it's not an intentional thing, right? It's a byproduct of the system, right?
Okay.
As a whole, is
Okay,
kind of
that's
deal. So
interesting.
like, when you price somebody out of the market of being able to survive, right, they're going to end up having to find a way. And if you're willing to give them money to do so, you're going to end up being in the welfare or unemployment class. It is what it is.
But that's what I mean by intentionality? Because then you
No,
have a portion of the population become dependent upon this
It's
system.
a byproduct of the system. It's not it's a design flaw. It's not a fucking design feature.
and the best way I can describe it is the unintended consequence. They they did this for what they thought was a good reason, but they didn't think about the results of that action. Every
Well,
action has a reaction.
So the
what
reason,
I'm what
let me
I'm
let me explain the reasons
okay,
why they did what they did. Okay.
okay,
So back in the 1960s and 70s, there was a major problem in our economic system. What
right,
happened is that especially throughout the 1970s until 1978, 79. This is when China got opened up with Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford and Ronald Reagan. Basically, what they did was this. They said, look, we have a problem of where, all right, in 1970, let me take it to 70 because 70 is exactly where it started. In 1970, we were on what was known as the Bretton Woods Agreement, where countries, not banks, not fucking human beings, not citizens, countries could trade in their currency that they were holding for US dollars. We were for $35 an ounce. We were the world reserve currency. And 4 countries at once tried to do this. And when they did, they closed the gold window because the United States did not have enough gold to back it up. Right. And basically,
wait, you were saying they were all trading on US dollars, correct?
Everybody was holding US dollars and they tried to trade them in for the gold for $35 an ounce.
Okay.
Right. Which was the going rate at that point. Right. Now, when they tried to do this, okay, they had to close the gold window because the United States had already spent the gold to pay for fucking the Vietnam War or for the Korean War, and a couple of like Central American wars that we had conducted. Right, basically, we were spending a shit ton of money that we didn't have, right, and printing currency in order to do it. So these countries, you know what I'm saying, like tried to trade in their dollars. And when they did so, they discovered that the United States did not have the ability to fucking give them the gold, right? And when this happened, it was also the time of what was known as the OPEC crisis back in 1972.
Correct.
Because all of a sudden, these individuals who were trading us oil on an assumption that they were going to be able to, have, the United States give them gold in exchange for their fucking dollars. In exchange for like that this dollar was, or that $35 equaled an ounce of gold. They discovered that that wasn't the truth. And so all of a sudden, oil shot up to $175 a barrel and they started rationing fuel. Now, here's the thing. In the labor market, what happened is that the American citizen over the course of the 1970s ended up gaining exponential ground against the corporations that they were working for. And when they did this, right, it literally, like the companies legit, their fucking, their stocks growth was eaten up by fucking interest. Right. And
how so when there was massive unemployment? Explain that to me. I'm confused.
Because the average worker costs too much goddamn money because fucking like the currency was trash. Right.
Okay.
And until like we really got things settled with the petrodollar status and the floating currency status to where it needed to be. Right.
What do you mean by floating currency?
We have a floating currency. So like, its value is determined by how much the demand is on any given day.
Okay.
Right.
We have a fiat currency. There's nothing backing it.
Well,
kind of like the stock market is right now.
Yeah. Well, it's always been fiat. All currencies are fiat. All right. Yes. Every currency in the world that's ever been created was fiat. Doesn't matter what it is. Okay. Because basically fiat just means by decree of the king or by decree of the government. So if your government says that this, this is the currency that you're going to use, or this is worth this much, that's what your currency is worth. Right. It doesn't matter whether it's gold or silver. It doesn't matter whatever it is. Right. You're talking the difference between a hard currency and a floating currency at this point. Right. And so the United States now has what's known as a floating currency. So as we print money to pay for things like Social Security, Medicare, welfare, things of this nature, right, the currency continues to devalue in labor. Right now, in 1979, what happened was they had a market friendly revolution. They elected a guy named Ronald Reagan. Right. Yes. And Ronald Reagan basically fucking let the companies fucking ship jobs overseas in order to get a lower price for fucking labor. Right. So they could lower the price of goods and they could print money in the United States exponentially. And it didn't matter because the cost of fucking, manufacturing those goods wasn't as high. So people were basically buying cheaper shit.
What would you say the difference between what you just detailed versus the Weimar Republic in Germany in the 20s? What would you say the difference was?
The difference is that Germany is landlocked inside of Europe and the United States is surrounded by 2 oceans and has a massive military.
They're not landlocked. They do have a coastline. Germany actually has a pretty decent coastline.
Where?
Baltic Sea, correct?
North. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, they don't actually have
they don't have open water access, immediate open water access, but they're not landlocked.
They have to go through like 2 different fucking pinch points in order to get out into the fucking Atlantic Ocean to do trade.
Well, you're talking about every Mediterranean country that exists as well, because you have the Gibraltar Straits that can be shut off without a problem. and before
So
the Suez Canal,
what you're
that
saying
was
is
it.
trade was the problem, is what you're saying in detail?
Well, trade is
yes.
always a big deal. Trade is
Yeah,
always
so
a big
like Germany can only really trade with the rest of Europe, right?
Correct.
And at that point, you know what I'm saying? And the reason why the Weimar Republic was a massive problem is because of the fact that Germany was only doing business with the rest of the world, or with the rest of Europe, right?
Okay.
And so therefore, when they were trading goods with a place like France, which they were just handing money to by fucking making the money printer go burr, right? It's like, yo, like their fucking currency devalued very, very fucking quickly
Well,
because
and
they were super
also
reliant upon outside goods.
they extremely limited the industry type
Yes.
that Germany could participate in, especially on the western portion of the country where they had a demilitarized zone. The only industry that was
Right.
allowed to exist in that area was automobile manufacturing,
Correct.
which the Germans were at that time cutting edge on.
They're still there.
Yeah, that dude, I love German engineering when it comes to reliability. I hate it when it comes to actually fixing the shit.
It's so goddamn expensive.
Well, yeah, like the biggest problems that the Germans had with their tanks in World War II, they worked well up until the point they broke down, and then the common tank soldier couldn't fix it. They needed an engineer to fix it because the systems were so complex.
So is this why the U.S. tanks, the British, and the
No.
Soviet tanks end up superseding?
No, I'm gonna tell you.
Sheer industrial might is the only reason why this.
Let me give you the quote. I think it was from who was the fucking general over there?
Eisenhower?
Tank.
No, the guy for Germany.
Rommel.
Rommel. All right, here's what Rommel said.
okay.
Rommel said this. This is fucking awesome. He said, one Tiger tank is worth 4 American motherfucking Shermans, right?
Sure.
But the problem was there was always 5.
Yeah.
And so it was more of them.
That's what I
right?
mean. We beat them through sheer industrial power.
Okay.
It's just kind of like in the old style of combat, you would have 2 lines walk towards each other and just shoot. And basically whoever had the more soldiers 10-1 to battle.
Well, would you also say that depending on what their artillery was, the shot of the men, the training of the men as well?
No, because really the only time you saw sheer destruction from artillery, true destruction, where it impaired the soldier on a psychological basis, was you saw that during World War I, which was the beginning of what they considered to be industrialized warfare.
Correct.
There was so much artillery being dropped on soldiers. Like the U.S. Army had these experiments trying to save the soldier from shell shock through constant exposure to LSD, things like that, which did not work out well, by the way.
No.
Because one bad trip really got bad. But in World War II, artillery was used, and it's still used today.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't as heavily relied upon. World War I was an artillery war.
Interesting.
Yeah. So all right. Now in 1980, they started the period of what was known as neoliberalism, right?
Yes.
I mean, you could say it started in like 1945 with, the free trade agreements that were passed and, all these type of things. But really, it was 1980 that all this really kicked off, to the point where America started fucking exporting its fucking jobs and shit and bringing in foreign fucking manufacturing on a mass basis. And it eventually drove the American companies out of business, right? Mm-hmm. And, that's how we got to where we are today. Like everything is a result of something that happened before.
Yeah, happened decades before, because everything runs on a delay in economics. It's you pay for something economically for what happened today 10 years from now.
Yeah.
But it was interesting in the 80s. in the late 70s, we stopped manufacturing. In the late 80s, we were an assembly based economy. All of our products that we were producing was basically manufactured in one country, shipped here, and assembled. And then in the 90s, they transferred even the assembly over to areas like China because of slave wages and protecting that profit margin. So
then where do all the quote unquote jobs that they say that boomed in the 80s and 90s come from?
Assembly plants.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and for instance, I'll give you another good for instance, right? Do you know where Toyota's biggest fucking, manufacturing plant is?
Is it Mexico?
No.
Mm.
It's in Tennessee.
Yeah.
That makes sense. There it is. Which one's in Mexico? Because one of them.
But the thing is, it's not in Japan, right? Like, this is what happened. Like places like Japan stood here and Germany and, fucking South Korea shipped their fucking entire manufacturing facilities into host countries, right? They did the same thing in Britain, same thing in, other parts of Europe.
So did they ship all the parts over by plane or by ship? How did they work?
By ship, of course, by ship.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like everything runs by shipping lanes, right?
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so this is where all these fucking jobs, fucking came from is, jobs in some other fucking foreign manufacturing plant, right?
I'm also asking these questions for those who don't know manufacturing like you do in logistics.
Yeah. I believe it or not, I was before in the previous life, I was a logistics manager for one of the largest European fucking shipping companies on the fucking planet.
Ooh.
What
got you out of that? Because I know that's work. Was it too much stress?
No. It's fucking they didn't want to pay me.
It is. That's how it always is.
They offered me 40 G's a year to go to fucking Philly. I was like, eat a dick.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's it? Man, you can get 40 G's anywhere. Damn near.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I can get 40 G's a year going fucking work in a warehouse. Like, I don't give a shit.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's shit.
But yeah,
that's what they do to you. More responsibility, less pay. They don't ever want to compensate you properly.
Yeah. But this is, this is where all this came from. Right. But and then all of a sudden the problem is that it's not so much just that our automobile fucking manufacturing closed down. It's that our steel manufacturing closed down.
Correct.
Which also, which also the fucking truck springs started closing down. The individuals who made shots closed down. The people who made brakes closed down. The individuals
where is American steel produced right now? Because I know it still happens, but where?
Oh yeah, we have one here.
Yeah, right. There's still some steel foundries in Pennsylvania, West Virginia. You see some,
Michigan.
Okay. Yeah,
places that I thought they did. Okay, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? Right. And so all this is important to understand what happened to everything, right? It's oh man, we lost, these fucking jobs here. But the reality is that you have about 19 to 20 million Americans who used to, fucking work in manufacturing who no longer have employment in these jobs. Right.
And who are very skilled at what they do. But
they're fucking, they can't get a fucking job elsewhere because there's no manufacturing plants and they don't have any degrees because they were trained on the job to do what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so most of those degrees don't mean shit anyways. Honestly.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. A company requires that degree in order for you to be able to do something. Like for instance, right now I'm looking for a jockey driver job so I can be home every day. Not because I can't drive on the road anymore legally, right? Because I'm on a needle and shit for fucking diabetes, right? And so every time I go to apply for a job, I have to have a CDL and pass a medical exam.
Huh.
So you're gonna have to take a Coke job, a Coke and Pepsi job, right? Is basically what you're saying.
No, I'm gonna end up having to. Well, actually, next week I'm going to go do construction, right? But after that, I got a fucking whatchamacallit. I got a doctor's appointment. And I have a doctor's appointment this week, so I can find out if I can get off the needle and go back to driving truck. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's kind of where shit's at as far as stuff's really concerned. This is something that, a lot of people don't have, these type of conversations about is the fact that we switched from, how much experience you have in your field, and what did you do to, fucking, we want you to have a goddamn degree for this. And all these people, they can't go back to a 4-year fucking college to go get a goddamn engineering degree or a fucking 8-year engineering degree. You know what I mean?
And part of the problem is that we don't have career progression like we used to.
Correct.
And see, now I'm in the trades. You know, I fix aircraft. That's why I'm Aircraft Sparky. I was teaching, and I went back to my tools. Now I'm going back to teaching, but now I'm going to be doing vocational teaching. I'm going to be teaching, and I start in like 2 weeks. I'll be teaching people how to tear down aircraft engines and rebuilding them.
Yeah. You know, I mean,
that's part of career progression, but a lot of the trades don't have that anymore because a lot of people there are so many people, the market is saturated with people with degrees. Like I know people, and this is sad, Tom. I worked at a shipyard. I had people who I was working with who were going through apprenticeship positions, and they had bachelorate degrees in things like chemistry.
Exactly.
But it's because we have sent so much of our manufacturing and research base overseas because of lower labor cost and whatnot. Yeah. These people with these highly advanced STEM degrees, they can't get a job. And part of the problem also is they overvalue that degree. That piece of paper is just a license to learn more. But
well, like again, like it used to be like, and I remember like this is how this used to work, even in like a warehousing job, right? Like you go into a warehouse and you know they'll fucking train you on how to drive a forklift or a pallet jack, whatever the case might be, right? And now you actually have to go and get a fucking license from the community college to fucking drive a forklift in a warehouse.
Yeah, exactly. That's bullshit because I was driving a forklift at like age 14 in a grocery store.
That's what I'm saying though. But like they've stood here and they've taken these options away from individuals, you know what I mean, because it's easier and you know, I mean, less, you know, it's easier and it's better for regulations as far as like the insurance paperwork concerned. If you come in with that license and they can go, well, he fucked up. It's their fault. They taught him, not he fucked up because we taught him.
But
also,
you know,
oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I think what actually pushed that. I think what actually pushed that away. And this is right up your alley, Tom. The reason why college has been pushed so much is because of the normalization of females in the workplace. The majority of people who graduate from college are female.
Facts.
And the cost of living has gone up exponentially because of the devaluation of the currency. It is actually forcing females to be in the workforce in order for a nuclear family to survive. And that oversaturation of things like, you know, of college degrees. I have a shit degree. I have a degree in communication and history. I seriously, 2 worthless degrees. But I also have a trade. I'm an avionics guy. I work electronics on aircraft. And so I use my degree to get into higher positions within my skill set. It's resume fodder. It's something that when a hiring manager is looking at my resume, I can have the same evaluations as the next guy up, same experience, but because I have that degree, I have that one leg up. And the only reason why I have that degree, which I earned at age 40, is because I sold my soul to the United States government and actually used my benefits, which a lot of vets don't.
I mean, yeah, but like that's the bitch though, right? It's like, here's the thing. If I'm not interested in going into debt for $150,000 to go get that 4-year fucking degree, nor do I have the goddamn time to get a bachelor's. I just don't have the fucking time or ability to do so. And I'll be honest with you, even if they said you should go to college, I have no idea what the fuck I would go for.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, what's funny is
Mhm.
When I
Oh,
made the decision to go to college, man, I was going to do astrophysics, and the reason why I ended up going with communication history is because college I went to wanted me to retake all the math I took because I didn't take it at that university, and they saw dollar signs.
mhm.
I didn't go into debt. I had the GI Bill pay for it. And so when colleges see like a vet with a basically a free ride, they're like, "Oh, well, we're gonna stack some deals so we can make a little cheddar off this guy." And that's what they did. I mean, that's what the University of Oklahoma did. Is they
Tom,
tried to maximize their profit off of me.
Tom, what I'm saying about intentionality, and we talk about the corruption in government and more. But what I mean by intentionality is we're detailing. Okay, I come from both the worlds. I did have some college as well as I'm fucking manual labor and more. Right, so I see both sides. On the one hand, this is what they do. Right, they bar entry. Some of the places they say, quote unquote, you need experience, you need all this licensing, et cetera, et cetera. Right. On the other hand, they say, well, just get us college education. Okay. So let's say an individual gets this college degree, right? Now, most of them don't go into the fields that they do. Why? Because people are like, they're told, everybody, oh, just go into this field, go into this field, go into this field, all this time getting these hundreds of $1,000s worth of debt, correct? Then when they get into the field, let's say they even go for something like a lawyer or a doctor, depends on which doctor field, which medical field. Oh, what do we have here? Oversaturation, supply and demand, too much demand, and there's only enough spots. So a lot of those people who are quote unquote overqualified, then they get jobs in these other places. Now, the regular people who would just go into trade jobs, which they could be good at, oh, well, you don't have this degree. This is what I mean by intentionality, where they're force feeding people into shit to where you either have to get into
Okay.
debt.
Like
Oh,
it's
go
okay. Like here's the thing though, right? Like when you talk about intentionality, because it's important to have a conversation about why that shit happens. And
Okay.
again, it gets back to we don't want to pay for the fucking training process, right?
Correct.
You
Correct.
know what I'm saying? So like, they're like, it's not intentional. It's like, yo, look, we have to, all right. So when you have a business in America, right? What you're worried about is your next quarter, right? Or your next 2 quarters. You're not worried about what's going to happen in 10 years, right? So you don't care if your workers are, properly trained. You don't care, you know what I'm saying, if like shit's doing what it's supposed to do. You care about how much your business costs to run
Okay.
in the end of the
Okay.
day. Right. So when you stand here and like say these people like they buy these businesses or whatever, and they fucking have these corporate takeovers or whatever case might be, they strip out. The first thing they do is they strip out any of these type of programs from the fucking business because they'll go,
Correct.
well, we'll just hire people who are educated because it's easier for them to take on the fucking debt than it is for us because we have to show fucking growth to the shareholders because, like, yo, our ability to stand here and raise prices isn't really capable because they're competing with Malaysian labor. They're competing with, Vietnamese labor. They're competing with Chinese labor. And the reason why they have to do that is because the United States decided in 1945 that they're going to stand here and fucking patrol all of the world's oceans, right?
Yep.
And allow free trade so that everybody would fight the Soviets, and nobody changed everything after the fucking Soviet wall fell.
Was it actually free trade though? Quote unquote free
Yes.
trade.
Yes.
How
It was a
so?
bribe.
How is
It was a
free?
bribe. Right. It was a bribe. It was really simple. Like, yo, we will fucking allow you to bring any goods anywhere in the world and you can do anything you want to. And we will make sure that all disputes are settled amicably between the two fucking nations that have a problem. Right.
Okay.
And they literally set up the World Trade Organization and fucking had the United States as the enforcement arm of it. And it's all ran through the US currency pool. So that like if somebody fucks up, you can just cut off their goddamn credit card. Right. And
Kind of like
so
embargoes, correct?
yeah, basically, right.
Okay.
You can stand here and shut everything off. And so when they did this, you know what I'm saying, in fucking 1992, they never shut it down after the wall fell. But or the trade-off was this is you have to help us fight the Soviet Union. That was a trade-off.
So was NAFTA an extension of that when Clinton's
No,
administration did that?
Well, no, NAFTA is a whole different thing. NAFTA is a North
Okay.
American Free Trade Association, right?
Yeah.
NAFTA is Canada, Mexico, and the United States. You know what I mean? Like fucking, just that don't nobody gives a fuck about that bullshit. That was a shitty trade agreement for all sides, and it was even worse for Mexico than it was for the United States, believe it or not.
How so?
Well, because like basically they they no longer had the ability to compete in, you know what I'm saying, the fucking opportunities for them to be able to grow agriculture, which is where, you know what I'm saying, the vast majority of their fucking shit came from.
Yeah.
And basically we went down there and dumped grain and corn onto their fucking shores and you know what I mean, for nothing, right? And put all their farmers out of business, which is why in the 1990s you had that mass influx of motherfucking Mexicans into the United States. That's how you ended up with, there's 120 million people who live in Mexico. There's 30 million fucking Mexicans in America. Literally a quarter of their population lives here.
Yeah, we took away their agricultural base. They took away our assembly manufacturing base, and China took away our legitimate manufacturing base. So basically, all we did was kind of push different economic powers into different locations. And now with the USMCA, it was righting some wrongs of NAFTA.
Wait. Hang on a minute. Psycho's challenging my math skills. Okay, so 120 million Mexicans. All right.
It's actually a fifth, Tom.
No, wait. 100. Oh, shut the fuck up. 120 million Mexicans, right? And there's 30 million illegals, right? How many is 30 million out of 120?
He's probably, if he's arguing right, he should say it's 30 out of 150. If it's
no, it's out of the 120 because like those people still count as Mexican citizens.
Right. I was hoping that's what you meant because that's why I didn't object.
Yeah, because they were born there, so they're still fucking Mexican citizens. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. No, that's why I didn't object. That's what I thought exactly what you're saying because you're correct.
That's 1 quarter. That's one quarter. That's not 1/5. Don't challenge my math, nigga. I got this shit on lock.
No. I didn't say anything. I was saying the only way he could make sense is if that.
Yeah, no, you're not. You don't add them. You don't add them, buddy. We're not adding them, right? They're not extra numbers. They're literally fucking part of Mexico's population still.
Then he doesn't know what he's talking about.
like they still count as Mexican citizens, right? You know what I mean? It's not like there's 150 million Mexicans. There's 120 million Mexicans, right? And like out of those 120 million, 30 million of them live in the United States. But here's the weird thing, right? Legit, like there is there's something like 10 million Americans who live in fucking Mexico.
Sounds right. I'm surprised it's not more actually.
Well, I mean, look, you see a lot of Americans doing things like moving overseas, back to America for like 5 minutes and flying right smooth the fuck right out.
Or they just have two houses. So,
by the way, there's a really good place down in Central America. It's either Nicaragua or Honduras. I think it's Honduras.
Honduras is better than Nicaragua. Nicaragua's got its own problems.
And they speak English, right?
Yeah. Oh, Belize. No, Belize does. Straight up. Costa Rica kind of does.
Well, and I'll tell you, Honduras is a fucking paradise.
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful down there. Costa Rica's the same. Beautiful.
Yeah, and you can live there, you know what I'm saying, if you're collecting a pension and shit.
Oh, and they will take your U.S. dollars. All of them will take your U.S. dollars. They will gladly take your U.S. dollars too, by the way, because their currencies are a lot more shitty.
Yeah, it's super fucking cheap. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, you know what I mean? Like,
and good food for you, by the way. It tastes better. The Coke's different too.
Well, yeah, because they still
sugar, not corn syrup.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't drink Coke. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of my mentality.
Just for those like it you will taste it, Tom. Let me put it this way: you will taste the fundamental difference. Like for those, sodas are so bad and shit's different across the globe. Let's just put it that way.
All right, yo, look, here's the deal, Psycho. They still live in Mexico because they maintain a Mexican address.
And
right.
they are,
And a lot go back and bring that money that they make from the U.S. to them. That's why they come here.
Yeah, and they pay
Come on,
taxes.
they
They
send
pay
that money
taxes
back.
they pay taxes as Mexican citizens, not as Americans.
Yes.
Right.
they send most of the money back to Mexico
to support families. That's every time there's a quote unquote recession in the United States. Oh, what do we not see? Immigrants don't really come through. Why? Because they're economically motivated. It's basic. It's basic. Come on, people.
Yeah, I'm handing out wrenches real quick, but I'm saying, look, it's been about 2 hours, so we're gonna shut this bitch down.
I was just thinking
in about 5 minutes, right? It's like you're legit. You know what I mean?
I'm hungry.
Like,
I need to eat.
I feel you. I've been thinking about it, but I don't want to eat, man.
I gotta cook up some shit.
I've been thinking about it. I'll be honest with you. I've been thinking Slim 74. I don't know why the fuck you don't have a wrench. I figured you did. You know, because I know I've seen you in the fucking chat before, but I gave you a wrench. You know what I'm saying? So
Sparky, what's your channel? Because I didn't even know the motherfuckers had a channel.
It's youtube.com/aircraftsparky. youtube.com/aircraftsparky. Yeah, I do political commentary. I'm a free speech guy.
There goes a link to motherfucking Aircraft Sparky's channel.
Yeah. But yeah, it's you know, you kind of alluded, you kind of want to know what I'm going to do with my channel here in the future, and man, I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing until they yeet me off. You know, I know that Donald Trump conceded, and I know that Joe Biden will be the 46th president of the United States, although it will be short-lived because the 47th president will be unelected, will be the first female president, and maybe, just maybe, she'll identify as black at that moment and not Indian red dot. We'll see how that one goes.
Aircraft, I've been putting this, because they want Harrison. So which do you want? Is it you think it's going to be assassination? They're gonna use a 25th.
No.
Is he gonna die?
He'll probably resign.
Yeah, he's
you think it's just going to be the resignation option?
He's
okay,
into mental incapacity. He's going to voluntarily resign. Look, this was by design at the beginning of the process. I said that Camel Toe Harris was going to be the Democratic National Committee's,
and no one wanted her either. Even the Democrats didn't want her ass.
They were going to force them on to people because the people don't actually pick who the nominee is. The parties actually do that.
Oh yeah.
But Tulsi gang raped her single-handedly.
Yes, one of the greatest moments in TV history. I loved it.
And, she had to drop out immediately. I mean,
okay. No, I mean, look, what are you gonna do with your channel though, right? Like you can't keep like how do I put this? You can't keep like fucking speaking to MAGA people because like MAGA doesn't exist anymore. So what are you gonna do?
Well, okay, look, the ideas behind the MAGA movement is the stuff I started out talking about to begin with. Look, the only thing that really changed is the label, right? Look, I've stuck to my principles from day one. I'm a conservative. I'm a conservative. I'm a fiscally conservative person with social liberal ideas, but I'm a nationalist all at the same time. I believe everything should be. That's what? Pardon me? Well,
man, look, seriously, you're roboting the fuck out, nigga.
Yeah, you're roboted out.
God damn.
I look at it like this, man. I'm a nationalist because I love America and I believe that America should lead the world in everything good and positive. But we do lead in some things that are not so.
But I don't want the United States to, like, you know what I'm saying, be leading the rest of the world in shit. I don't want us to be dictating how other countries run their.
And I agree with you there. Okay, I'm talking about statistically leading, not physically leading, not even morally leading. I want America to do the best that it possibly can across all aspects, and I don't want to interfere with other countries. It sickens me, Tom, that we sacrificed American blood and fortune to quote unquote liberate Iraq, set up a democracy. We created a more secure voting system for Iraqis, and we refuse to implement anything to secure our own voting systems here in America. And yet we think that we're the moral arbiters and should tell other countries how to run themselves when we can't do it ourselves properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue that message just without the MAGA label.
Right.
I am a conservatarian populist with nationalist ideas.
Yeah, you're part of the leave me alone party.
Yeah. I think the Don't Tread on Me flag, I think the Gadsden flag is honestly the most honest flag ever made by America.
Okay, I mean, look here. All right, I'm starting a new political party. It's called Leave Me Alone.
I feel
Right.
that. I feel that.
It's a basic premise, right? Like it's just like, make America great again, except easier because just leave me alone, right? Like all I want my politicians to do is leave me the fuck alone, right?
Mhm.
Don't tax me, don't bother me, don't try to take my guns, leave my fucking kids alone, and fucking let me raise my family in peace. Leave me alone party platform.
Yeah, I dig it.
Leave me alone is not how the fuck we got here. We got here from like, yo, man, look, you know what I'm saying? Like real shit. I'm a free speech type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, wrench no state, nigga. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way the fuck out today. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, right? And make sure everybody out here listening to this, make sure you subscribe to the channel because, like, I'm trying to do my best to bring y'all really good content and, have other voices out here other than mine. To listen to. But yeah, the Leave Me Alone party is my new platform. That's what I'm doing because I was never a MAGA dude. I like Trump and some of his policies, but I hated a lot of his shit. Like it's fucking bump stock ban and bullshit. And
dude, he made some horrible choices. I supported Trump, but I wasn't a sycophant. When Trump messed up, in my opinion, I'd call it out. But overall, like his foreign policies, I tend to agree with for the most part. I wasn't happy. It's not like I was dancing a jig when the USMCA passed, but I thought it was better than that abortion called NAFTA. I mean,
what is the USMCA in short term?
It's the United States, Mexico, and Canada agreement. It's an economic. It's basically a North American trade agreement,
but it's good.
But yeah, it's good. It penalizes American companies for moving their manufacturing down to Mexico. It's more of a.
He did that back in 2017 or 2018. I'm trying to remember.
It passed in 2019.
Oh damn!
But he had to negotiate it, man. Look, when you're talking about things like that, and yes, fuck China because China is asshole. When you're negotiating something that affects that many countries, you have to have everyone sign on to it, and then you have to get the dipshits in your own country to sign on to it. And yes, it is a form of NAFTA Part 2, but it's not as bad for America as it previously was.
Well, you got to remember, Mexico's a great trading partner, right?
Yes,
as far as shit's really concerned. Like, they have lots of 20 and 30-year-olds who like to buy things, you know what I mean? And they have a, rising standard of living down there. And, life's getting better for them. And they do low-end assembly or low to mid-level assembly and manufacturing. And we do design, and fucking high-end electronics. So it's a good trade-off. But the problem is like Canada, I'm afraid Canada's fucked. Because they're trying to compete with us and they don't have a population or ability to do so.
No,
but that's a thing for now. I'll tell you what, Sparky, man, like, if you'd like to do like a weekly show or something, man, I need more content on my channel.
I feel you, man. I feel you. I actually just signed on to a local media group here, where I'm doing a live stream with them. I'm doing one live stream with them weekly. I'm bumping up my actual content on my own. But hey, man, we'll talk about this off stream, right?
Yeah.
I'm not against it, but you know,
And you're gonna have me on your goddamn channel and stop being a little bitch.
actually, that was something I want to talk to you off screen. But you know, hey, we'll talk about that offline, man. I don't like to conduct business in
Hey, yo, man, I don't like, whatever, like the whole mentality, like, hey, look, we're gonna be over here, we're gonna be over there, we're gonna try and do something here. I mean, it's positive for all of us. It's not like we're fucking discussing. Anyway, yo, look, man, we're gonna get the fuck out of here. It's Tom Peace and Pino News. Y'all know the deal. Like, share, and subscribe. Dip, Sparky, thank you for helping. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. MC, I love you, my brother. You know what I'm saying? You'll keep trying to motherfucking yell at the wind, and I still think you're Dan Carlin's motherfucking angry brother. Yo, I'm out of here. Peace be like one of my brothers.